Well, good morning, everybody. This is Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike, and I do bees. Welcome to my bee yard down here in southeast Louisiana. Remember, guys, I'm not sitting around here doing how-to videos. These are how I do videos. It's a beautiful morning. It's in the mid-40s right now, and I'm sure it's going to get on up to probably mid-60s. It was low 60s the other day, and the bees were flying, and I had to go out to the dairy and take a gander at those hives, because what I wanted to do out there, they're sitting on top of a levee, and any of you guys have been following my videos know back in early on we were out there and it was always windy. So we get these north winds, and we've had a good cool winter down here relative to what we have. 30s, and we're getting back into the 20s again. We've been in the 20s a few nights, and of course when we get in the 20s we immediately warm up in the day, usually to in the 50s. But anyway, we have a lot of north winds coming through this time of year. So those north winds, there's still a good wind chill down in the 20s, sometimes in the 30s. So I wanted to make sure and put some wind guards on those. I don't usually put wind breaks or anything around my hives ever. Never have I. But being on top of that levee, right on top of that hill, I mean, it's the highest point all around for a mile. And there's nothing to block the wind. I took that same stuff that a lot of you guys up north use to insulate your hives, that styrofoam sheathing, and I cut some pieces that just fit on the back of the hives, and I strapped them on. And with that, and I made them dip down below the hive stand. So what that's going to do is it's going to keep the wind from going under the hives, and when it hits the hive, it's going to go around them. So just a wind break on those. So while I was out there, of course, I put my ears to them and all. Everybody was alive. Everybody was doing good out there. And the other day when it was in the 60s, every one of these hives, the two next doors, they were blowing and going, looking for pollen and nectar, of course. And that's one of the issues we do have down here. Now, they're able to get pollen off the camellias right now, the few that are blooming. But the issue we have down here, where you guys have to have 60 pounds of honey, is what the books tell you. The books tell us in the South, not the deep South, and I learned that a long time ago. We are the deep South. We're only supposed to have 40. And I don't know about that whole 40 thing, because the problem is today we'll probably reach the 60s. I think is what the forecast said. Lower 60s, mid 60s. Well, the bees are going to go flying. They're going to go looking, and what's going to happen is they're going to come back with nothing. And so they're going to burn a lot of energy out of the cluster running around. There's probably some brood in some of the nests here and there. So they end up burning more than just they would when they cluster. And I guess the basis for the 40 versus 60 north and south type of thing is because our winters are shorter. So 40 pounds in a cluster will get them through in a shorter winter where 60 pounds in a cluster will get them through any longer winter. Well, our winters may be short, but the problem is our winters are warm down here, and those bees are going to fly, and there's nothing for them to find. Now, last year we had nectar in February. If you watch back to my videos, let me link one back to where I was finding nectar in hives at the end of February. And that's because the winter was so warm. We had a lot of wild mustard blooming, and we had what they call butterweed blooming in the ditches and things like that. So there were a few things blooming, but if we get a cold winter, even into February, we won't see anything blooming. So with that highs getting in the 60s, that tends to be an issue with bees going out and flying and not finding anything. And again, we hope they find some wild mustard toward February and all that, but that's no guarantee. Well, look, guys, I do want to mention really quick, if you do like the videos that you see here, please give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Doesn't cost you a dime, and you hit the notification bell, you know whenever I upload videos, because it's kind of sparse right now. So really quick, I want to step inside and I want to show you a little something I wanted to talk to you about as far as some of the places I get all my information from. You hear me say a lot of things and different facts, and again, I'm not a how-to guy. I'm not telling you how to do things, and that's why I say I don't ever want to be the person responsible for telling you right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm telling you how I do it and what's worked for me and what I've seen in my experience in 8 years, and what I have read in well-established periodicals and well-established books and things like that. Or a lot of the other stuff I read stuff from the University of Florida, Clemson. I used to read them a little bit, but I read research pages also by guys like Randy Oliver, Tom Seeley, and just, you know, guys and gals. Jennifer Berry's one at University of Georgia. People that have done the research or had the experience, or you know what I mean. I'm pretty particular about that. So here we go. Let me show you a couple of the sources that I get my information from, and then I want to talk about another little article. And it's something I actually did a little video clip on a while back, and I think it was a great article in American Bee Journal. I'm going to show you a couple of the books that I like, and yeah, maybe it might, it's too late for Christmas gifts, but it might be a little something for a birthday gift or something like that you may want to get. So, and some of y'all probably have these. Let's go inside and I'll take a look and show you. Okay guys, I want to talk to you real quick. I got my reading glasses on, and I don't know if you guys subscribe to magazines or bee magazines, but I subscribe to the American Bee Journal. I like it a lot better than the Bee Culture. I got my own reasons why. No need to go into that, but the American Bee Journal, one thing about it that I do like over others is it doesn't get too technical crazy on you. And I like Randy Oliver. He's one of the columnists. I like Jamie Ellis. He's one. And this is not a plug for American Bee Journal. It's just where I get a lot of my information, so you'll know where I read some stuff. But this article in the November issue, 3 Things it's called. I'm going to tell you what, you talk about a simplistic, the best article I've ever read on keeping bees. It talks about 3 things: varroa, queen events, and feeding. And I'm going to tell you what, it's a page and a third, maybe. No, even a page and a quarter. And that's it. You guys want to get your hands on a decent article, go find that article and read it. It's so simple. It helps me get back to the basics. It helps me understand that don't think too hard into this. Keep these things straight: varroa, queen events, and feeding, and how you do it, and when you do it, and what you're doing to get it taken care of. And it'll take so much out of your problem solving right there. You'll have already eliminated most of everything that could cause a problem. He goes into, varroa being the biggest challenge, of course, and we all know that. The bottom line is, whether people want to believe it or not, varroa is one of the major problems we have. And look, new beekeepers will always come up, and I did it. Mom, I'm going to have the varroa-free ones. I got some, and there is such a thing as of a hygienic bee, the VSHB. There is something to that. There's studies been done. They've shown that it's a true deal. But it's not foolproof. You're still going to get mites. They are still going to die from mites if they get way too infested. And I had some of those, and I thought, oh wow, I got them. I got the silver bullet. Nah, you're going to do it. But we all think we're the super beekeeper. We make it that first year, and we didn't have any losses, and we wonder why everybody's losing things to mites. And like, I didn't lose mine to mites. You will. You will. But bottom line is, you got to figure out how you're going to address it. Queen events, it talks about swarming, and why it's such a big deal if they swarm, and why you have such a problem with your honey crop, and why it's pretty much gone if they swarm on you. And then feeding, knowing when to feed and when not to feed, and why you're feeding, just like I talked about Bob Benny in his series. So really good thing called 3 Things in the American Bee Journal. It's in the November issue. If you can get it online and get your hands on it, take a look at it. It's like a 10-minute read at the most if you study it. And okay, so in addition to the American Bee Journal, I did talk about that, and that was another clip I made. Now I had one to include it in one of my videos, and I didn't, so I saved it. That November issue, man, what a great little, just almost a refresher, almost to bring it back down to earth as we're growing and trying new things and trying new innovative things, which you should always be trying to do. I see Bug Farmer up there, and he's trying a real innovative heater system, and he makes neat things. That's the fun thing about beekeeping, is you can just innovate, try new things. And by the way, Bug Farmer, man, I sure appreciate you saying such kind words about my videos and about me. That was man, it was really nice of you. I really appreciate it. Bug Farmer, check him out. Real innovative, smart guy, and he's just trying new things in beekeeping, and I think it's really neat what he's doing. But Anyway, so I do like the periodicals. It's solid. It's usually good information. If it's too scientific or complicated, I move on to the next article. But that's kind of why I like American Bee Journal a little bit over Bee Culture. And there's some other reasons I don't like Bee Culture, but that's personal. Won't go into it. But I do like that American Bee Journal. Here are some of the books that I like, that I have really helped, that have helped me, and that I can go to any time and research stuff. What I will say is, before I go over this first book, is I started beekeeping with no knowledge whatsoever. I had years ago, when I was like 12, we went to these people's homes over in Suwannee County, Florida, and my mom knew this person. We didn't know him that good. Heck, we got lost. It took us forever to find the house, way back on some dirt roads. Anyway, we find him, and you know, my mom and that lady get together and start having their coffee and conversation or what have you, and I get hooked up with the kid, and off we go. We head to the woods. It's the first thing we do. And there's these beehives out there, and I remember him opening this beehive. Now, I'm 12. I don't know anything about him, and I just remember him. He opens the top, and he looks in, and he pulls a comb out. It is a frame, I guess. I didn't know it at the time, and he's like, try this, and we dig in there, and we eat this honey out of this hive. And I always was fascinated by that. Had never really looked at bees much after that. Never even thought about them too much. And then when I was out here, I had some fruit trees, and I thought, well, I get bees to pollinate these things. And I remembered that time of going in that hive. And I said, I'm going to get some bees. And so I did get a hold of one person that had them for a while, and they told me a little bit about it. So I went and bought a book. And I had no mentors. I found a place that sold equipment, and I went off of this book. And that's what got me started. And it was such a simple read. It's simple read. I read it front to back, and I had a good understanding of what I was at least looking at. This book right here did wonders for me. I really, really enjoyed this book. And for the first couple years, I actually used it as a reference guide, because one thing about it, it has a section that tells you what to do in spring, summer, winter, and fall. Tells you what you should be looking for at 7 days. And I bought a package from none other than John Harbaugh, Dr. John Harbaugh. He sold a few packages for a couple years when he first retired from the USDA Bee Lab in Baton Rouge. And he is the guy responsible for the VSH trait, the hygienic trait in the Russian bees. He's the one, he and his partner, they got that one going. But basically his name is on any publication you read about that. And I got some of those bees from him. Now he doesn't sell those anymore. He sells just breeder queens now, but I got a package, and this book told me how to like install my bees. It gives you ideas of how to catch swarms as well, whether you're doing packages, nukes, everything. And then it gives you reference stuff. And this book was great. So now, another book I got, I really like this book. This was the first book I got. And you know, they always say in the beginning books, wintertime is for reading. Well, hey, here's a good book for reading, because it'll take you more than one winter to read it. The Hive and the Honeybee. This book goes way, 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 way back, many, many years. And of course, it's been revised. Here's a chart you turn to, and it gives you everything that's blooming in different regions of the United States. It is extensive. This book has everything you could possibly want to know about bees. You know, it started out way back when. I saw the copyright in this. This obviously is a revised edition from Dadant, but this copyright's 1946, but this book goes back further than that. I'm pretty positive. And it's obviously been revised over the years. You know, you have new things come up, new equipment, new pests like Varroa and SHB and all that. So this book here, The Hive and Honeybee, there is like nothing you can't find in here. It even has an entire chapter based on making it a business. Whether it's honeys, queens, pollination, whatever it is, the hive and the honeybee, this is a great gift. Granted, I'm doing this and it's after Christmas when you're watching this, so not much you're going to be able to give them for Christmas, but hey, a great birthday gift. It ain't cheap, but it's worth it. It is a great reference manual. And of course, it's beekeeping, so you got to find what works for you. This is another one. Now this is the AI root. And of course, AI root, great in bee culture. There was a great article. Well, it was a series of articles and experiences about AI root. But look, this one's since 1877. See, that Hive and Honeybee goes back that far too. I'm not sure why. I guess the latest revision. I don't know why the copyright says that. I'm positive it goes back. Could be wrong. But anyway, the ABC and XYZ, this is a neat one. And this one you just look up by topic. So you want to know about swarming, go to S. And I read pollen. We were just talking about pollen in my last video. You know, it is a whole section on pollen. So pheromones, P under pheromones. So you want to know about swarming, you want to know about splits, queen rearing, whatever. It's all in these books. These are good factual books. You venture out from here, but these are the books. I mean, even go to People. Julius Hoffman. Never really read about him too much. But it's a great book, in my opinion. But these are some of the books I go on. All right, so I got a special treat after this one. So this one is since 1877, and the home of the honeybees in 1887. And 1884, 1887. But if we go in, A.I. Root, 1879, and there's a man. A.I. Root was a very interesting guy. Now, let's see when this version was. Okay, so this version is a 2006. Okay, and this I got from a friend. ABC and XYZ of Bee Culture. It's a 1972. You see, revisions. This one's neat because Walker, Louisiana. A guy was cleaning out one of his parents' homes, and he found this. I mean, this is the sizes and frames of the different people. Y'all read probably about Quimby and Gallup, Langstroth. In American Bee Journal has a series called Beekeeping Coming to America, and it talks about all these guys and what they went through and how they moved bees, and the first guys to move them cross country. But this book here is older. It's pretty neat to look at, you know, what people were reading about in the beginning of the 70s versus what we're reading about now. Obviously no SHB and no Varroa in this, but it was neat to have and neat to research. But you'll see I'm commenting, saying different things about what I've read. I get it from books like this, and I get it from magazines. I just don't spout it off, or it's an experience I've had, or it's a experienced beekeeper that's told me this. And I try to mention that anytime I mention a fact or a figure or something like that, because I don't want anybody to think this is some knowledge that I've got. It's just stuff I'm learning too. And you know, I'm only 8 years into beekeeping, and there's still a ton to learn, because they'll surprise you every time you turn around. You're like, what just happened? And I've never seen this before. So, you know, I really believe in good books, good research papers, good periodicals with solid information. That's just how I've done it. Because again, when I started out, I had nobody. This is a neat book. This was Beekeeping in the South, a handbook on seasons, methods, and honey flora of the 15 southern states. This was a neat book. I got this for Christmas one year. It's more of just an informational book, but it's got some how-to stuff in it. Yeah, that's it. And I keep my periodicals. I keep all my. There's a second version of Beekeeping for Dummies. I had loaned my original one out, so I got a second one to give to somebody else. Because if they don't get the Beekeeping for Dummies books, I'm willing to let them borrow mine. But I got Bee Cultures. There's the A.I. Root one. This is a really, that's where the series started. That was a really good series on him. Not a huge Bee Culture fan, but that was a good series. These are all Bee Cultures here, I think. Some catalogs. And then, of course, all the American Bee Journals. This is November, the one that had that simple, straightforward article. But I keep those. You never know when you want to research something that you went through. And then a bunch more, plus catalogs and such. But, yeah, that's where I get my information. You always hear me spouting off some numbers and stuff. When I do that, it's normally something I've experienced, something I've read, or something that's come from a seasoned beekeeper. So, anyway, I know that's kind of a boring video. Just wanted to go through and give you a little bit of the method to my madness. Maybe give you some ideas for reading in the winter times, because I know you guys up north got long winters, and I know that's what the books will tell you to do, is to go in and read about the bees. And well, it is a good time to do it, between working in the shop and getting stuff done and getting your equipment ready. Maybe it gave some people some ideas. It's after Christmas, but hey, you know, it's always birthdays, and hey, just give a gift just to be giving a gift. Anyway, guys, I surely appreciate everybody that's been watching. I know it's been slow, but it's what happens in the wintertime. Not a whole lot to document. And guys, if you did like it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, guys. Don't forget to share this video with your friends, your family, anybody that just enjoys watching bees. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon. May Lord God bless you and keep you. See y'all later.